I've noticed something really interesting happening in Salem over the past few years. The people moving to Salem are not looking for the same thing anymore. And there is definitely a pattern to the types of people that Salem is attracting right now. And understanding this will truly give you a better understanding for yourself of whether Salem, Oregon is going to be the right move for you. So in this video, I want to break down the main types of people moving to Salem, Oregon right now and why they're choosing it. And you can see which one that you may be. And throughout the video, I'm going to reveal which categories that I fell into before making the move to Salem, Oregon, because I am not a local. I was not born and raised here in Salem. Like you, I spent time researching and figuring out if Salem was going to be the right fit for me. And that's why I love doing these videos so much, because that's the perspective that I can share with you as someone thinking about moving to Salem. The first group that Salem is attracting in great numbers are Portland transplants. These are people living in Portland, tired of the rat race, tired of the big city life, tired of all the congestion and all that Portland energy. They want something more simplified, a lot more quiet, more peaceful, slower paced. And Portland and Salem are relatively close, so you're still in the Pacific Northwest. More importantly, you're still in Oregon. You're just about an hour south. Salem is just about an hour south down the I-5 freeway. So it's especially easy if anyone living in Portland wants to see what lifestyle is like in Salem. Just shoot down an hour and you can get a good feel for it. Salem still offers that quintessential Pacific Northwest vibe, just without all the chaos and congestion and that cramped feeling that you have when you live in Portland. People moving from Portland express how they just want more of a routine-based lifestyle. They want their errands to be a lot easier. They're raising their kids in a slower paced environment. They want to be a little bit more immersed and closer to nature. A lot of people from Portland come here to Salem. They go to our downtown here and they realize how much they can enjoy just this quaint little small downtown compared to what you would have in Portland with the high-rise buildings, really tight, congested streets, hard to find parking, hard to really get around the downtown area. And they come here and they see how much more simpler it is, and they tend to enjoy that. That's something that they're really wanting, and they want to escape what Portland is offering them at that point. Now, the other side of it is they still don't want to move too far away from Portland because, let's face it, Portland does have a lot of cool things to do. There's a lot of great culture there. So by living in Salem, they're just an hour away from it. So at any point, they can go back to Portland and enjoy that. They just don't have to live in that Portland lifestyle. And the more often someone visits from Portland to Salem with the idea of moving here, they realize that Salem is not just the capital of the state. They realize that Salem is not just some pass-through city along I-5 freeway. They see that Salem has a very vibrant culture here, centered around community, centered around nature, and it really is enticing for people looking to leave the chaotic world that Portland offers. And it's really for a lot of these reasons that Salem is also attracting people from other large cities outside of Oregon. That leads us to our next category, and this is something where I fell into, my family fell into, and that is Californians moving to Salem, looking for that reset in their lifestyle. Now, I can definitely attest to this because it was exactly what I was looking for. Now, California is a large state, so it's kind of hard to blanket everybody in the state. I came from Los Angeles, a large city, but California does have this vibe that is much different than the Pacific Northwest, and people moving to Salem specifically are looking for, again, slower, quieter, more manageable lifestyle, and again, being really close and immersed with nature. A lot of people moving from California are looking for more house for their money. Let's face it, California home prices are insane. They come to the Pacific Northwest, they come to Salem and see just how much further their money goes. They're looking for a bigger home, bigger yard, bigger property. Some people looking for acreage, again, looking for more of that space. And they're finding it here in Salem, just like my family and I did. We owned a house in Los Angeles, nice little home, but we compared that to what we would be getting here in Salem, and it wasn't even close. We were raising a family, growing family, and we just needed more space and didn't want to pay the insane prices that we were finding in Los Angeles and other parts of California. Like myself, a lot of people moving from California are looking for just overall less congestion. The city I came from, Los Angeles, the city itself has 4 million people. The county of LA had 10 million people. You consider the whole state of Oregon has 4 million people. And I just gave you the numbers for Los Angeles. That's not including all of California. So just that sheer downsize in population just gives you that chance to breathe, chance to kind of spread your arms out, spread your wings, and not feel like it's super overcrowded. And that is a big reason why Salem was so attractive to my family and I. We can move about, move around the city, go to different events, go to community events, and not feel like we're just shoulder to shoulder, crammed into a sardine box. We can actually enjoy the nature that's around us, not being packed in by other people trying to enjoy the same thing. And in general, there's just this overall appreciation for nature that's here in Salem, Pacific Northwest in general, that was really attracting us from California. Another big reason why Californians love Salem, and this isn't really discussed too much, but we get 4 seasons here, and they're mild for the most part. So it's a nice transition from people in California who are used to just sunny. It's very mild, and so the transition is much easier. But with 4 seasons, it's amazing. You get beautiful fall weather here, crisp air, the colors are popping. The winters here, we get rain, we get cloudy skies and gray skies. I won't sugarcoat that at all. It does happen for a big part of the year, but it's mild compared to other parts of the country. We get a little bit of snow in parts of Salem that we get to enjoy a little once in a while. And then spring and summer are beautiful. The spring colors really pop here. The weather turns, the sun comes out, and it's just such a pleasant feeling here in Salem. And summers are almost near perfect, and that's coming from someone from Southern California where weather was actually perfect. Salem summers are fantastic, and just it really thrives here during spring and summer. So for someone like myself who's born and raised and grew up in the monotony of just all sun, yeah, you can boo-hoo, oh, you get so much sun. I've heard that when I moved here, when I was complaining about it a little bit. And I do love my sun, but I actually enjoy having all 4 seasons. It kind of helps me get through the year. There's this definitive timeline that I am feeling as I'm traveling and life experiences throughout the year here in Salem. And the reality is, for a lot of people, it's not really about escaping California. It's about creating a new life and the lifestyle that you would have here in Salem in the Pacific Northwest. And when you look at these different groups of people moving to Salem, there's a common theme that's really connected when people are moving to Salem, Oregon. If we haven't met before on any of my other videos, I am Dave Fein, a local real estate agent here in Salem, Oregon, and I absolutely love doing these videos because, again, I am not a local. I understand what you may be going through, some of the questions and concerns that you have before moving to Salem. And this information was not really out there when I made the move and transplanted my family here to Salem. So if you are thinking making that move, buying a house, make sure you're reaching out. Hit me up at the contact information popping up. I'd love to help you with that relocation. Now, this next category of people moving to Salem, I've seen personally, and also I see it in the clients that I'm helping move to Salem, Oregon, and that is the remote worker or the hybrid worker. That's become really popular, of course, since the COVID era days, where a lot of companies were switching to work from home. This allowed people all over the country to move about, and it really kind of refocused and made people think about what their priorities are on where they live. It wasn't just centered around where they work, because now we've got the freedom to move. And when that freedom came, a lot of people ended up choosing to move from these larger metropolitan areas to smaller cities like Salem. And that is absolutely the case that we have here in this city. With that flexibility, people are allowed to live that lifestyle that they really want. They can still work that job that they had, not worry about losing income, maybe even still making the big city income, but able to simplify their life, being able to buy a home with a home office, or just having the flexibility to go to one of our awesome local coffee plot places and set up shop there with their laptop. Whatever it is on how you're going to work from home or work remote or have that flex schedule, Salem is just very attractive for people that also want to incorporate a different lifestyles. People that are remote workers aren't necessarily concerned about proximity to their work anymore. They can really focus more on their lifestyle. And that does a lot for people's overall energy, mental health, and their mindset. And I'm constantly hearing from my clients that they absolutely love moving to Salem and not being married to this big city that they felt like they had to stay in just to keep their job. Living in Salem has given them that sense of space, being a little bit slower and quieter as far as their their personal lifestyle, their personal activities. There's a big difference when you're living in these large cities. You're going to your job. It's stressful to get there. You're stressed out because of the energy that's in that city. You're trying to map out your other daily routines, like just running errands after work. Whereas here in Salem, everything's so much easier, so much more simplified, that the rest of your life outside of work is so much easier. It actually, from what I'm being told from my clients, is it lets them free up and have more energy actually for their job and their personal lifestyle. They don't feel burnt out in either direction. And that just comes with the type of lifestyle that people are enjoying here in Salem. And from my own personal experience, I can tell you that freedom allowed me to pick a city that I would actually enjoy, and I didn't feel like I was stuck in a city just for my job. It gave me, my family, a little bit more sense of freedom and allowed me to prioritize what was important to me. And this leads us to another category where my family and I fall into, and that is families leaving larger cities. We chose to get out of the big city life in LA and move to Salem, Oregon for more of that balanced life. We were tired of feeling overwhelmed, the chaos, the congestion, so many people, the idea of just having to kind of keep up with the trends of large cities like Los Angeles. We wanted to tone it down, more of a simple life, so we can focus what was important to us and prioritize parenting and our kids and our family. And Salem provided us just that. And when I say simplify our lifestyle, I really mean our daily lifestyle. I feel so much less stressed now that I live in Salem, Oregon. I can run errands stress-free. I know I'm not going to be stuck in traffic or fight for parking. I know it's not going to take me an hour to just go to the supermarket and come back. And that means a lot for myself, my own peace of mind, my own mindset, and it also affects my family in a positive way. I'm not coming home all stressed and upset that it took me forever to do something. Even when I take my kids to extracurricular activities, I know I can take them there and they're not upset, stuck in the car wondering how long it's going to take to get there. They're feeling less stress, I'm feeling less stress, which makes for a much more happy life. Also, to the different community events and the fairs and all the entertainment that we go to and take our kids to, again, it doesn't take us forever to get to. And when we get there, we're not fighting for parking and we're not walking for miles or blocks and blocks just to get to the event. And when we're at the event, it's not shoulder to shoulder, bumper to bumper. It's like you can enjoy the whole event. And again, it's not just great for my kids to experience this, but as parents, I'll speak for myself personally, just for myself, when I could feel that sense of freedom and not have to worry about crowds and everything else that comes with large cities, I can breathe more. I can enjoy the event, enjoy the time, be more in the moment, and that has done wonders for myself and for my family. Something also that I was not getting from the big city is just being more immersed in nature, and that came very naturally here in Salem, where I feel like there's just parks and open reserves and open space, place for us to just breathe and enjoy nature, not all this extra stimulation and overstimulation that sometimes comes with being in the large city. In fact, a lot of our entertainment now is centered around nature, whether we're going to the U-Pick farms to pick our own fruits and berries, going to fall festivals at the farm, taking nice walks around some of the large park systems that we have here like Mento Brown, Riverfront, Bush's Pasture Park, or just getting outside the city and going to the Oregon Gardens or Silver Falls. All of these things that we do now is things that I could not do in a large city. Now, that's not to say everything we do is centered around nature. There's lots of things for kids to do in the cities as well. We've got a lot of indoor playgrounds like trampoline parks. We've got the Gilbert House Children's Museum. We've got Sky Zone, Urban Air, Athletic Edge, and so much more indoor entertainment activities as well. So the kids are really enjoying their new life here in Salem, just like we are. I also can feel more comfortable letting my kids roam around the neighborhood. I feel like they can just go out and play like how I grew up in Los Angeles. It's just not that way in these big cities anymore. They go out and they have the freedom that I did, and I think that means so much to them, gives them that sense of freedom, responsibility, and I'm a little bit more at ease now that I can just do that in the neighborhoods that we live in now. Now, here is something that I think doesn't get really talked about much, but definitely has a positive effect on people living in Salem, and especially people leaving these large cities for places like Salem. And that is that sense of space. When you look at a map, pulling up right now, you can see that Salem is surrounded by farmlands and wineries and natural reserves. Now, there is a sister city just north of us. It's Kaiser, but it's basically like a large suburb of Salem. But outside of that, there's nothing around us. There's no other people or traffic coming in through your city to get to another city. It's not just miles and miles of commercial property, brick and mortar. Once you leave the city of Salem, you're in the county, in the outskirts, and you are in farmland, wineries, as I mentioned before. And there's something about that. I feel like it gives us that sense of space, this geographic space that also gives you that mindset space. And it's this freedom, breath of fresh air that I do. It's not something that's really tangible. It's not something that you can really point to. But at least for me personally, and a lot of people that I speak to that have since moved here, really love that idea. And that is pretty unique to a city the size of Salem. And a lot of families moving to Salem, Oregon are not looking for excitement anymore. They're looking for stability and quality time. And then this slower pace of life isn't just attractive to families, it's also attracted to other types of people as well. Salem is becoming more and more attractive for people in their retirement phase of life. And this is actually a growing portion of my clientele. People moving from these larger cities because they're also feeling the chaos. It's inconvenient to get to places, overwhelming to get to places, and they're seeing Salem as this refuge. It's a quieter sanctuary for them, much more convenient, much slower, easier to do their daily activities and find things to do without having to be stuck in traffic for themselves. Many of the same reasons why families bring with their kids wanting a slower pace are very similar reasons why retirees are looking for the same thing. Salem is a much more manageable city compared to a lot of places where retirees are moving from. In addition to Salem being more manageable, Salem is also more affordable. As I mentioned in the video, home prices are a lot less expensive here. So people that are retiring are selling their homes in these larger metropolitan areas, getting their money, pulling it out of there, and either buying themselves a similar home but keeping more money in their pocket, or they're downsizing here, keeping a lot more money in their pocket. And retirees also get to enjoy the mild climate. Again, something that I had mentioned before. Climate's a big deal for a lot of people retiring. They're not interested in shoveling snow or dealing with heavy rainstorms or hurricanes or tornadoes. And yes, sometimes people like the sun and the heat, but that can be also very overwhelming when you're dealing with triple digits constantly throughout a year, like in Phoenix or places in Texas and other parts of the country. That could be quite oppressive when you're not able to go out of your home and you got to just sit around not doing much. Salem offers a very mild weather experience compared to other parts. The location is ideal for a lot of people retiring because they've got more time to enjoy things, and we are central here. So we're a quick day trip to the coast, a quick day trip to the mountains, a quick day trip to Portland. So everything is really close if you want to expand and do other things outside of Salem. And given that a lot of retirees have more time to do so, they take full advantage of that. For a lot of my clients in that retirement phase, they expressed to me how they really enjoy how many neighborhood parks and natural preserves and reserves that we have here in Salem with easy walking trails that they just get a very short drive, and right there they get to enjoy nature with a nice easy walk along the Willamette River or in some sort of nature preserve. And again, because there are less people here, it's less congested, they can actually feel and enjoy the nature that they're actually seeking out to enjoy. It's common to hear from my retiree clients that they really want the convenience in a city. They just don't want the stress and pace that come with larger cities. Now, all of these groups are different. They do share one thing in common. People moving to Salem, and this is something that I can personally relate to, are looking for more balance, less stress, more space, slower pace. Very common theme for all the groups of people and types of people that are moving to Salem. Now, whether or not you fit into one of the categories that we talked about in this video, or if you're someone that just can relate to why people would seek out and move and love living in Salem, Salem, Oregon is not for everybody. Now, if you're someone that likes the high energy and that intense lifestyle, the rush and wanting and needing that constant excitement, Salem is not going to be a great fit for you. If you want that fast networking energy, that urban lifestyle, that just feeling of the constant buzz and vibe that a large city has, again, Salem's not going to be a good fit for you. You're going to feel very out of place. You're going to be looking for more, seeking more. You're going to feel like you're missing something. Now, I can relate to that energy. I can relate to wanting that lifestyle. That is something that high energy lifestyle is something that I lived for most of my life. And it was a good fit for that time in my life. But everyone changes, lifestyle changes, needs change. And at some point, that was not for me. It was not for my family. And we wanted to slow it down, wanted more of that balance, somewhere where we felt personally more comfortable raising our family. And so you've got to determine if Salem's going to be a good fit for you. It's not bad. It's not good. Whether we're comparing big city to smaller city, it just really comes down to what is a good fit for you at this point in your life. Figuring out which city to move to, if it's going to be a good fit, it's a big decision. It can be kind of overwhelming. It certainly was for my family and I, my wife, my 2 kids. It was a big move, and there wasn't a whole lot of information about Salem, Oregon when we made that move, and that's why I do these videos. As a local real estate agent, I personally have experienced what you are going through, so I can understand some of the questions and concerns that you may have, and I hear it all the time from my clients that I help relocate here as well. If you are thinking about moving to Salem, Oregon and wanting to buy a house, hit me up at the contact information above. I love having these conversations with you and guiding you for your move and your home purchase.